Hey y'all, so I just want to talk a little bit about just the ethical boundaries and self care. So I was looking at the most common ethical complaints to state licensing boards, and according to an article that I found from from 10legal.com, which is the Tennessee Board of Counseling, it kind of discussed the top 10 most common ethical complaints. The first three that I looked at were practicing without a license, sexual relationship with a client, and other, which included poor standard of care, violation of ethics, and inadequate supervision. So it was really interesting to me and surprising that practicing without a license was number one. I wonder, and I pose a question of like, how can like people get away with this? And also, what is a way for people to find out? Is it clients, or is it other people in the area that find out, like, oh, that person does not have a license? So just thinking about this, how might self-care or the lack thereof result in counselor impairment? I think self-care is so important. It's so important to have community. It's important to have mindfulness. It's also important to have a good diet and exercise. All three of those things are something that are so important in order to become or to be a healthy counselor. I heard someone say one time, you should practice what you preach. You're there taking on other people's issues, but you also need to take on your own issues. And the code of ethics and counselors I've read have talked about, going to your own professional counseling in order to get help with your problems, because you don't want to lead clients down a path when you are also going down a path that would impair you from properly teaching or properly counseling a client to health. So this kind of brings up a couple questions for me of how can we avoid these ethical complaints, such as, a breach of confidentiality, a failure to report abuse, practicing without a license. How can we properly report these of people around us, and how do people get away with this, and how can we, being in graduate school, how can we learn more about this and take further action in doing so? Because all of these things lead to not having enough self-care for ourselves. So thank you so much for listening, and I hope that this brings up a lot of discussion. Thank you.